For those who are not 100% familiar, Advocates for DeKalb Animals is a grassroots, nonprofit, citizen-based organization focused on addressing our animal crisis in DeKalb County. We have asked CEO candidates to review the data that we've developed and tell us what they are going to do to meet the massive challenges that we have with pets and their people and the community in general around animal welfare. We know that DeKalb voters care about animal welfare, even if it is not the top topic at every meeting, but we know that they care. DeKalb County has significant problems with breeding more dogs than can be absorbed into our homes. Many of them are bred for sale, and thousands of these dogs end up homeless, roaming streets and neighborhoods, and about 5,000 a year end up in our shelter. 42% of those dogs are puppies under the age of a year. And in many cruelty, neglect, and abandonment cases that we follow, unregulated breeding activity is an underlying and contributing factor. Overbreeding is the biggest issue for advocates. And not only are we concerned about the suffering of animals that the animals endure, but it is also a very expensive problem for our county. So the questions are, what are you going to do as a CEO to address this and lead the county out of this problem? And will you support and enforce regulation of breeding?
Yes, thank you again for having me here. I think it's very, very important that the voice at the top be the leader in terms of clarion call around animal welfare and wellness in our community. It's very crucial that we focus on, I'll call the 4 E's: education, environmental modifications, enforcement, that's the laws, and empowerment. Because part of what we have to do is educate. I know it takes long, but the owners is the main ones who are responsible for caring for the animals. The county's job is to assist and help with spay and neutering. We run the animal shelter, work with the advocates like you all. We have to make sure we continue to do education and awareness. But then we go to the court system. And being in that court system, I will propose and make a recommendation, because I can't control the courts. I'm just the executive branch, that we have a special animal welfare wellness court, so we can deal with these cases in a timely manner and making sure that we can get animals the help that they need. And so I do support and enforce regulations on breeding. But I want to make sure that we have an educational component, because we have a lot of racial and ethnic disparities as it relates to sentencing. And I got to make sure that the laws are done equitably, but also we have to focus on what I would call a lot of times in terms of the income levels. So I want to address it from those standpoints, from an equity lens as well. And working with our Animal Advisory Board, I think we can get there.
Absolutely. I think the only thing that we can do here that's reasonable is enforce regulations around breeding. Because unfortunately, what we find at this point is that many of the backyard breeders that are pet breeders, they do not obtain a license from the state in order to sell the pets that they produce. So they are unlicensed. In many instances, these are individuals who honestly lack the cure for animals. It is strictly for monetary gain. So I'm very happy to say that I joined with Commissioner Long Spears, because she has also been a friend of the fur babies. And we wrote a backyard breeding ordinance that would institute best practices for breeders. First and foremost, ensuring that they are licensed, because that's absolutely necessary. That they have a license to breed, and also that they have a business license to operate. Because that, as far as we're concerned, is literally the front line of ensuring better and more optimal outcomes, so that we don't have puppy mills where puppies are not adequately cared for, and ultimately, in some cases, end up becoming a part of the Lifeline family, where we already suffer from overcrowding.